All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're doing a strategic briefing on what is arguably one of the biggest shifts happening in finance, the tokenization of real-world assets. This is all about giving you a clear guide to navigating and, more importantly, capturing a piece of this market. And it is moving unbelievably fast. The global market for tokenized real-world assets, it's already hit $400 billion. And look, this isn't some future pie-in-the-sky projection. This is the reality on the ground right now. So to really get our arms around this massive opportunity, we've laid out a clear roadmap. We're going to start with the landscape, pinpoint the #1 business challenge, and then walk through a strategic solution. We'll even peek under the hood at the tech, map out your path to market, and wrap up with how you can capture your share. Let's get into it.
First things first, let's get a handle on the state of play. You know, the RWA market has blown past those early experimental days. We are now officially in an era of global, real functional liquidity.
The whole focus of the industry has done a complete 180. A few years back, everyone was just excited about creating a token, minting. Today, that's table stakes. The real game, the real value, is in creating liquid secondary markets and literally building trust into the code of the asset. We call that programmable trust. And right now, we're seeing two very different but very successful playbooks emerge. Over in Dubai, it's all about speed and execution, especially in real estate. They actually launched the world's first live secondary market for property tokens. Pretty incredible. Meanwhile, Singapore is positioning itself as the serious institutional hub. They're focused on things like bonds and have achieved what's called T+0, or instant settlement. This basically vaporizes clearing delays. It's a massive leap in efficiency for capital markets. Okay, so the opportunity is huge. But of course, with that comes a pretty significant challenge for any institution trying to get in on this. So what is the main hurdle? Let's just frame the problem with a very direct question. For your organization, what is the one thing standing between you and a slice of this $400 billion pie? And here it is. This is the core issue. It's the intense friction between getting the tech right and navigating the jungle of jurisdictional compliance. I mean, you can have the most brilliant tech stack on the planet, but it's totally useless if it doesn't meet the legal rulebook. And on the flip side, a perfect legal strategy with insecure tech is just asking for a catastrophe. You absolutely have to solve for both at the same time. So let's talk about how to solve that dual challenge. This is really where having a dedicated end-to-end technology partner stops being a nice-to-have and becomes an absolute necessity. The Maticz advantage really comes down to solving three major concerns for any executive. First, reducing your technical debt. That means you get a production-ready stack so your teams aren't reinventing the wheel. Second, security is guaranteed through intense independent audits. And third, it's about managing the asset's entire lifecycle, not just stamping out a token and calling it a day. This quote just nails it. In this new market, trust isn't about a handshake or a fancy brand logo. It's programmable trust. It is code. And that code has to be absolutely airtight. Because a smart contract failure isn't a minor bug, it's a direct threat to the asset itself. So this programmable trust sounds great, right? But what does it actually look like under the hood? Let's take a look at how it's built. The whole process is incredibly logical and robust. It all starts by taking the legal structure of the physical asset, a trust or an SPV, and mapping it into a secure smart contract. Then, that digital asset gets deployed on the right blockchain to tap into global liquidity. But here's the really crucial part. Compliance rules like KYC and AML are automated and baked directly into the token itself. This means it can only be held by verified investors, and that verification happens in real time. Okay, so we know the tech is there. It's solid. So what's the actual practical path to get your assets on-chain? What are the strategic options on the table for your firm? We see two very clear paths to market, and both are designed to slash your internal technical debt. For standard assets, where speed is everything, our white label software is the fastest way to get deployed. But for more unique institutional needs, maybe with complex workflows, a full custom development ensures every single one of your requirements is met with zero compromise. And these capabilities, well, they represent the major verticals that are really driving that $400 billion market. We're talking about fractionalizing real estate, building out private platforms for institutional bonds, backing tokens with things like gold, and maybe most importantly, building the trading engines needed for a real, liquid, secondary market. And this is so important. These services aren't just theoretical ideas. They directly map to the massive market breakthroughs we've been talking about. Our real estate tokenization service, that is precisely the kind of tech that enabled Dubai's live secondary market. Our institutional bond platforms, that's what's powering Singapore's T+0 instant settlement.
And remember, the work doesn't just stop once the asset is issued. A real partner handles the entire operational journey. We're talking about automated yield distributions to investors, real-time net asset value tracking for accurate portfolio management, and of course, a secure process for asset redemption at the end of its life. It is truly an end-to-end solution.
Okay, let's pull all these threads together. With the market defined and the solution clear, let's talk about the strategic imperative for your organization.
So here's the key takeaway, the bottom line. Your goal is not to suddenly become a blockchain development company. Your goal is to capture market share. Partnering with a proven end-to-end expert de-risks this entire venture and dramatically accelerates your path from a strategy session to actual revenue. Which really just leaves us with one final thought. This market is here. It's live. It's growing by the day. The question you need to take back to your teams is no longer if this is happening, but how you're going to respond. Is your organization truly